often aren't your typical college students. And while they are more than just football players, they are quite a football team. Last week, Navy slot back Shun White ran for a school record 348 yards and a win over Towson. Tonight, Ball State counters with its record-setting quarterback, Nate Davis. It's Navy versus Ball State. Welcome to Friday Night Football. Tonight, ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Jack Links, comes to you from Schumann Stadium on the campus of Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, as the midshipmen of Navy come to town to take on the Ball State Cardinals. Ball State students fired up as the ESPN cameras are in their stadium for the first time. And we're fired up. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Sean McDonough along with Chris Spielman. Delighted to have you with us for what should be a very entertaining ball game. These were two bowl teams a year ago, both with a lot of returning talent. And last year in Annapolis, they played one of the wildest games of the college football season, an overtime game won by Ball State. But in that game, Chris, Navy rushed for 521 yards. And they're back at it again with the triple option.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why Navy's triple option works. It works with the start of the offensive linemen. They come off the ball like nobody else, and their job is to get people on the ground via chop blocks. That's why they're so good. Also, the wide receivers, not pass catchers, they're blockers. They'll use two blocking techniques. A stock block where they'll just mirror their guy and stay high, or the cut block. That's how big runs happen, is when receivers get DBs on the ground. Then we move over to the quarterback. It's all about ball handling and decision making. If the quarterback reads the defense or hides the ball with good fakes, he's got a chance to make the play work, and decision making on whether to keep it, hand it, or pitch it. Then you go to the running backs. Everybody has to account for a stout fullback. Navy has one. And of course, they have a perimeter runner that went for 348 last week, and that is Shun White.
And they've led the nation in rushing each of the last 3 years, and they opened last week with 558 yards on the ground in their win over Towson. Ball State last season a breakthrough year. They went to a bowl game for the first time since 1996. Different approach. They do it through the air with one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, Nate Davis is a special player. I had a chance to see Nate play as a true freshman down in Toledo. After the game, I was driving home. I said to myself, man, this kid has a chance to be really good. Guess what? He is really good. He has a strong arm. So do a lot of guys on the street. But he has a strong arm with accuracy. And talking with offensive coordinator Stan Parrish yesterday, Nate does something in practice, I don't know, 7 or 8 times in practice that makes Coach Parrish go, whoa. And that's a good player when you can make your coach go woo 7 or 8 times a day.
Well, they expect to score points. The question is, will they be able to stop Navy? With more on that, here's Rob Stone.
Well, as for the Ball State defense, they know when you take on Navy, they have to adjust their mentality and their goals. After extensive studying of Navy's triple option, they said, you know what, let's set our goal as allowing no more than 300 yards rushing. Not all that impressive on first take, but when you consider that's still about 48 yards below last year's rushing average for Navy, it makes a little bit more sense. And early on, they're in for their toughest test, guys. As Brady Hoke admitted to us yesterday, it will take his defense at least the first half of the first quarter to adjust to the speed and precision of Navy's triple option.
Brady Hoke, a graduate of Ball State. He was a member of their MAC championship team in 1978 as a linebacker, their leading tackler in 1980. Coming off his best season with the previous 5 as head coach. 7 wins, a loss to Rutgers in the International Bowl at the end of last season. His team won the toss. They elected to receive. They don't want that Navy offense on the field to start the game. He'd like to score first against Ken Niumatalolo, his first season as Navy head coach. The first Samoan head coach at any level of college football. Dante Love will receive the kickoff from John Teague. It's a good kickoff, a couple of yards deep into the end zone. Love is their all-time leading kickoff returner in Ball State history. And a good run back here to the 28, where he's tackled by Craig Schaefer. Here come the Cardinals on offense. For the first time off an opening season win last week over the Northeastern Huskies, an FCS opponent. An easy win for Nate Davis and the Cardinals last week here at home, 48-14. He's now 340 yards away early in his junior year from passing Mike New and becoming the all-time passing yardage leader in school history. Over 3,600 yards last year. He hands it off to start the game to McQuail Lewis, and he's ahead for about 5 out to the 33-yard line. Davis, a junior from Bel Air, Ohio, small town of about 5,000 on the Ohio River near the West Virginia border, and he told us yesterday it's only about 35-minute drive from Pittsburgh.
And of course, brother Jose was a quarterback in the MAC at Kent State, and also Bel Air is a home of wide receiver of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Joey Galloway.
Both graduates of Bel Air High School. Movement along the defensive line for Navy. It's an Atlantic Coast Conference officiating crew tonight.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense, number 98, contact in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, check down.
A 5-yard walk-off. It'll be very close to a first down. Perhaps it'll even give the Cardinals a first down. Let's take a look at the impact players around Davis. Dante Love has caught a pass in 34 straight games, 180 career receptions for the senior. Darius Hill's one of the best tight ends in the country. Leads in school history in touchdown catches. And Robert Brewster was a first-team All-MAC tackle last year. He slimmed down over his career from 365 to a stout 310. Out of the gun on 1st and 10 after the penalty. The pump fake and a big hitter. This is going to go for a touchdown to Dante Love.
Well, that's a bad sign for Navy when your best cover corner, Rashawn King, jumps on the pump fake, and you see Nate Davis holding the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field and delivering the rope. Watch the little Rashawn King jump and think, I might got one. No. Dante Love hits him on the out and up. And it's off to the promised land, Dante, the land of love.
61 yards. And Ball State on the board just a minute and 12 seconds in. Ian McGarvey adds the extra point. Dante Love comes in with 5 straight games of at least 128 yards receiving dating back to the end of last year. And he's well on his way to that number again. 61 yards and a quick 2-play drive for the first score of the game. Ball State last year, Chris, won in overtime, 34-31 in Annapolis. These two teams combined for more than 1,100 yards. I think we both expect that kind of a game again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you saw it right there with the multi-dimensional offense of Ball State, Nate Davis, and offensive coordinator Stan Parrish. They came out with 2 tight ends. They came out with 3 wides. McQuail Lewis is an excellent running back. They set it up with a run. And a lot of times, Sean, early on in the ball game, you'll get corners that are anxious. They don't want to play safe. They want to make a big play. Rashawn King jumped. Dante Love and Nate Davis read it perfectly, and the ball was thrown on a line. A lot of times you see guys try to feather it in there. Nobody's around him. He delivered this line drive, and it was a beautiful play, well designed by Ball State.
Saw Stan Parrish, the offensive coordinator, dialed up that play. Jake Hogue kicks off. Low tumbler that came down to Emmett Merchant. And he's out to the 37-yard line. So an excellent kickoff return by Merchant of 25 yards. Jared Bryant will be the starting quarterback tonight for Navy. Senior from Hoover, Alabama. Voted the offensive team captain despite the fact that he was expected to be the backup quarterback behind the returning starter Kaipo Noah, Keheaku, and Hada. But Kaipo's been out for each of these first 2 weeks of the season now with a strained hamstring. He is here and dressed tonight, but won't play unless it's an emergency. Here comes the triple option. And some trickery, a play action pass, and receiver wide open, but it's incomplete. Intended for Shun White running down the hash marks. And Bryant was off target. They don't throw it often. Last week, Bryant threw only 4 passes, but when they connect, it's usually a big hitter.
There's Shun White splitting the seam right there. Well set up by Jared Bryant. Good ball fake. Ball State's coming out thinking, okay, we know what Navy likes to do, pound the ball, pound the ball. They hit him with the play action in a blown opportunity. Mark that down.
Bryant, the pitch to Shun White off that record-setting performance last week. First Navy rusher ever to go for over 300 yards when he went for 348. This time held to 3. And it'll be 3rd down and 7. Bryant Haynes made the tackle. That weak side linebacker. How about those numbers? Just 19 carries in that ball game for Shun White.
Yeah, then they took away Eric Katani, the fullback, which allowed Shun White to run free.
Average more than 18 yards per carry. Bryant keeps, and he gets banged down just a little bit short of the 1st down, it appeared, short of that yellow line at the 48-yard line. Alex Knipp, the safety, made the tackle for Ball State. Tonight's impact players are brought to you by Jack Links.
It starts with the defensive tackles. Rene Perry. He's got to be one of the guys in the interior defensive line to take up 2 blockers along with Gonzalo Bernaga. If they can get 3 offensive blockers with those 2 bodies, they're in good shape. And you'll see B.J. Hill, number 3, line up at the free safety position and run free to the football on pitch and quarterback keep.
Just to make sure they don't complete a big pass over his head that almost happened on the first play from scrimmage. Shun White tackled near the far sideline. The previous play was good for a 1st down. Bryant Haynes and Trey Bice made the tackle.
And watch B.J. Hill right here. He's going to run free to the football, causing a wide receiver to come up and block him, which freed the cornerback out there in Bice. So they don't have enough helmets on the defensive bodies. B.J. Hill, although he didn't make the tackle, forced the football to an unblocked player. Well executed by the Ball State defense.
I don't really call them what they are. Wide blockers. They're really not wide receivers in this Navy offense. Tyree Barnes, their biggest threat outside, had 10 catches last year. Here's Eric Katani, an excellent fullback, chopped down short of the 1st down by B.J. Hill, running all the way to the near side to take down the talented fullback Katani.
This is what I'm talking about in the game. When they don't get a body on him, he's free to the football. He either has the quarterback or the pitch. Last year's game, B.J. didn't tackle that well. Tonight, this is a good tackle on a big man at 233 pounds. And he goes and takes him down at the knees. Excellent play by B.J.
Formerly a tailback, made the transition to defense last year. Here's a pitch for a 1st down and much more. Down to the 35 goes Bobby Doyle, a backup slot back. Steps in from time to time for Shun White. He's a junior. Caught a touchdown pass last week against Tyson.
You know, it's interesting. We talked to Ivan Jasper, Sean, the offensive coordinator, and he says, you know, if our slot backs get about 60 yards, that's pretty productive for them. So you know what kind of day Shun White had when he goes for 348.
Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays. Another play action pass, and Jasper's Shun White, the intended receiver. Jared Bryant's pass incomplete. Jasper's play call. Another good call. They just can't execute when they have receivers open right now.
Well, you can see the problem that they have is the guys are open because right there you got Sean Baker sitting in the throwing lane, and he's playing what they call an alley player tonight. But the timing is off. If that ball delivered a little bit earlier, they're on time because Shun White was open in the flat, but Sean Baker did a good job of getting in the throwing lane.
For the last many years, Paul Johnson, the Navy head coach, called the plays. Served essentially as his own offensive coordinator. B.J. Hill up to make the tackle on Jared Bryant. Ken Liumatololo was an assistant coach. He is not calling the plays. Ivan Jasper is. There's a lot of pressure, big shoes to fill. Paul Johnson was known as a brilliant play caller, great at making adjustments within the game. He's now the head coach at Georgia Tech. 3rd down and 4, and Bryant is smothered behind the line of scrimmage by Brandon Crawford, the 32-year-old defensive end. Did not go to school, obviously, right out of high school. Spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, worked in an automotive factory, and is now in his 3rd year as a standout member of the Ball State defense.
See Brandon Crawford right there, disciplined, not going down to the dive, understanding that's not his responsibility. Responsibility is quarterback. Well executed by Brandon.
Field goal try. Matt Harmon, an excellent field goal kicker with a slight breeze at his back. This would be a career long 49-yarder. His previous best is 46. And that one is good. Matt Harmon, the senior from Taylor, South Carolina, with a career best 49-yard field goal. Both teams on the board in their first possession. Game is being broadcast on ESPN in HD. Mentioned at the outset, first time ESPN has ever broadcast a Ball State home football game. ESPN2 was here at Schumann Stadium last year for the Cardinals' win over Toledo. About 500 midshipmen have made the trip. Only a 10-hour bus ride taken today by them to cheer on Navy. John Teague kicked off for the Mids. Dante Love not as successful with this return to the 20, and that's all. Chopped down again by Craig Schaefer, who made the tackle on the first kickoff. Quick strike for Ball State on their first possession. Just 2 plays, and Dante Love with a 61-yard touchdown reception from Nate Davis.
The more experience Nate gets in this offense and working with Stan Parrish, the more dangerous he becomes, because Stan can draw things in the dirt. Nate will pick it up, and he understands the concept of offensive football and where to spread the football to.
They put Dante Love in the backfield. He faked the reverse. He might be setting that up for later. And it's about a 5-yard gain. Ross Pospisil, a linebacker, made the stop for Navy. The linebacking core is the strength of the midshipman defense, with Pospisil, Clint Sovey, and Corey Johnson. They also have Ram Vella, Tony Haber, Travis Sutter. They are deep at that linebacking spot.
And they're going to have their hands full with Dante Love, because Ball State loves to move him around, no pun intended, and get him the football in all different areas, just like this.
The swing pass to Love, breaks some tackles, spins away across midfield, and out of bounds well into Navy territory. They'll mark him out at the 39-yard line. Chased out by Ross Pospisil. 37 yards on the play to Dante Love.
You see the swing pass right here again. The idea is to get him the ball in space and match his athletic ability with Navy's athletic ability. And guess what? Right now it's 2-0. Ball State's athletic ability, and Dante Love winning that battle. But a good plan by Stan Parrish and Brady Hoke.
2 catches for 98 yards for Love. And the carry mixed in. McQuail Lewis back in and running back. The shotgun. Good throw into traffic. Caught by the tight end, Darius Hill, who had 65 catches last year as a junior. Navy struggled on defense. They had 8 wins last year, went to the Poinsettia Bowl where they lost to Utah, but they tended to outscore people as that defensive unit that was hampered by key injuries gave up 30 or more 7 times.
Yeah, and they got some people back that will hopefully improve on those numbers with the Liz and Sovey back in the lineup.
There are 2 key defenders, both of whom missed almost all of last season. Love again. And he carries for a first down. He took a direct snap. So Stan Parrish said he really has an NFL-style approach. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Learned that from John Gruden when he was an assistant with Tampa Bay, and he's doing that tonight in a variety of ways.
In all different ways. And you see Ryan Brewster pulling around and getting a nice block, sealing the hole. And Dante Love has that spin move. Talk to a scout from the NFL. They love Dante Love's versatility, and he's putting it on display tonight. Running, catching, blocking.
But the question would be the size. They list him at 5'10", 179, and that might be a little bit generous. Out in the flat it goes to McQuail Lewis. First down, Ball State at the 12-yard line. Wyatt Middleton credited with the tackle. Return of Lewis a key this year for Ball State. They had virtually no running game most of last season as Lewis went down with a torn ACL in the 4th game of the year at Nebraska, which was a 1-point Ball State loss.
And 5'6", 185 pounds. He's stacked pretty tight though down low. He's big hipped and big rear ended. He has a lot of power and a lot of quickness, and you saw it right there where he put a move on a couple Navy defensive backs, put him on his highlight film.
161 yards for Lewis last year at Navy. His first career 100-yard game. He goes again and gets banged out of bounds at the 6 by Tony Haberer, a junior out of Liberty Hill, Texas, a part of that deep Navy linebacking crew.
And one of the differences, you got to be able to change the line of scrimmage, and Ball State has the size. What that is their big people are pushing Navy's line back 2 or 3 yards off the football, and nobody's getting to McQuail Lewis until he's 3 or 4 yards down the field. You see big Ryan Brewster coming down there and jumping on top of somebody. That's 310 laying on you. You're not getting up from that in a hurry.
Chris Clancy, an extra tight end, has come in. The handoff again to Love, and he's down to the goal line. Touchdown, Ball State.
Well, here's what I see, Sean. The athletes for Ball State are outmatching Navy. Right there, Clint Sovey has him in his sights, has a chance to make an open field tackle. Dante gave him a leg and took it away, cut up inside. And the kid has a nose for the end zone and finds it. Took a shot, but found the zone.
6-yard touchdown run. And Ian McGarvey adds the extra point. It's been the Dante Love show here in the first quarter. He has scored twice. And the Ball State Cardinals lead Navy 14-3. We're back on the campus of Ball State University, a school of about 17,000 students in Muncie, Indiana, an hour's drive north and east of Indianapolis. Nate Davis said when they were recruiting him, when he first got the call from Stan Parrish, he had never heard of Ball State. He had no idea where it was. And when he came on his recruiting trip, he thought they were lost. They were driving through the countryside. Short kickoff by Jake Hogue. And it's Mario Washington out to the 31-yard line. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels continues on ESPN tomorrow night in the Sunshine State as the Miami Hurricanes renew their rival with 5th-ranked Florida, led by Heisman Trophy winner Tim Tebow. That's tomorrow night, September 6th, 8 Eastern Time on ESPN. It was a time for about 5 decades until the late 80s when they played every year. This is Urban Meyer's first crack at Miami. Eric Katani up the middle. Ball popped out. Navy has it at the 35-yard line.
Well, we talked about in the open the importance of the quarterback is ball handling. If he hands the ball to Eric Katani, he's got to be able to make sure that ball is secure. They're so good at what they do. Let's see what happens here. I think that was a good handoff. It looked like Eric saw that open daylight, got a little excited and didn't secure the football, but the ball was put in place.
Jared Bryant keeps and runs for a first down across the 45. Bryant in for the injured Kaipo tonight. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Kaipo partially tore his hamstring August 9th in the team's first scrimmage. Medical staff said it would sit him about 4 to 6 weeks. Tomorrow is 4 weeks. He is dressed. He is on the sideline. You're looking at him right now, and I talked to his head coach pregame about him. I said, is he number 2? He said, no, he's our number 3 QB. Hopefully you do not see him. If you see Kaipo on the field, it's not good for Navy. It means we're struggling and we're desperate.
And they're rumbling for a first down, and then some. Eric Katani, the fullback, to the Ball State 35, where Bryant Hayes took him down. Katani had a big game against Ball State last year, rushed for 126 on just 9 carries.
We talked about the 2 defensive tackles getting 3 offensive linemen. It wasn't done right there. You saw Gaskins get up on the linebacker for Ball State and Brian Haynes, and Katani was off to the races.
Left guard Anthony Haskins, their best offensive lineman, number 72, their only returning starter. Bryant dropped the snap and covered it back at the 38. He had a very costly mishandled the ball in the overtime last year against Ball State, and Aaron Hitch And Ball State wound up winning that game on a field goal in overtime. So Bryant wants to be better with the ball this time around.
I know Coach Ken gets extremely upset. The first thing he talked about on our conference call was the one fumble last week, as you mentioned. That's something they can't have happen if they want to hang with this offense at Ball State.
And a few problems in their easy win over Towson. An FCS school. Tyree Barnes, the reception. Senior from Hampton, Virginia.
That's a nice little gift for Tyree. He doesn't see that a whole lot where he runs a nice little hitch. I'll tell you, Jared Bryant has thrown the ball pretty accurate tonight, but the timing has been off right there. He was on time with the football, and you have the positive play for the midshipmen.
3rd down and 3. Likely 4-down territory. Oh, they are in field goal range. Katani close to the first down, about a yard short. Tripped up by Gonzalo Baranaga. And Navy will go for it. They do that a lot. They punted only 24 times all of last year.
Yeah, I think especially with a yard and a half to go and you're the #1 rushing offense in the world, you have to go for it. Absolutely.
Under 2.5 minutes to go. First quarter. Ball State leading 14-3. Nearly 2 full yards based on the last spot. And Bryant with a second effort. Did he get it? He lost his helmet. There's a flag down. David Jones, the sophomore linebacker, made the tackle. The preliminary indication from the referee, Tommy DeJoseph, was for a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, 42 on the defense. Half the distance of the goal. First down.
The replay here, Navy comes out with an unbalanced line, and they hurt Ball State with that last year. Ball State didn't adjust, and they almost didn't get it because Jared Bryant did not. You see right here, there's an extra offensive lineman out here. They have him outflanked. Jared Bryant almost cut it up too early, and Love made a nice little play in there, but he's got to be able to secure it. David has to be able to make that tackle driving back and stay off the head.
The penalty gives them a first down near the 12-yard line. Jared Bryant keeps for a couple down to the 10. We mentioned he was supposed to be the backup quarterback this year behind Kaipo Noah, Kehiako, and Hata. But it was an open question. They thought Bryant would be a slot back and punt returner. Matter of fact, he spent half his time in the preseason with the slot backs. But when we talked to Ken Niumatalolo this week, we said, if Bryant plays well, could he keep the job? He said, yes, he could. We have a little bit of a quarterback controversy here.
I think that's smart. That just brings out competition, which brings out the best in everybody.
Bryant just a little bit across the line, and he got banged around. Niumatalolo said it's always been close between Kaipo and Jared. We think they're similar players. We just think Kaipo's a little bit better overall. We asked him the question. I said, we're not trying to stir up a quarterback controversy. That's okay, because we kind of have a question in our own minds about which way to go.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And one thing I know about the Navy kid is that they can handle competition and controversy. They'll be doing that for a long time. But both guys, Jared Bryant's just too good to keep on the bench, so he's going to play somewhere. It's just a matter of where.
10th play of the drive, 3rd down and 7. A little bit behind the chains. The pitch back to Bobby Doyle. He's chopped down behind the line of scrimmage. Alex Knipp, one of those players, will be running the alley tonight. Up from his safety spot. Big play by the junior from Amherst, Ohio.
So here a little bit of a counter option right here, and Alex Knipp does not get nosy. In other words, he doesn't peek to the other side of the ball. See the little counter action right there? And Alex Knipp comes and gets away with a poor tackle, but it was a good tackle because he got him on the ground.
Jared Bryant is the holder for Matt Harmon. And a 29-yard field goal from the left hash mark, and it is good. So he's 2 for 2 today and 4 for 5 this season. 2 touchdowns for Ball State in 2 possessions, 2 field goals for Navy in their 2 tries. The Navy offense conferring on their sideline. They've had the ball for 18 plays in this first quarter. Over 2 possessions, they've had the ball for 9 minutes, but they've had to settle for 2 field goals, while Ball State has scored 2 touchdowns. So John Teague will kick off. Dante Love back deep. Final seconds of the first quarter. 14-6 Cardinals. Love from a yard deep in the end zone. Good blocking, and he's out across the 35-yard line. Followed the lead of Frank Edmonds, a backup running back, number 2. 35-yard return. Dante Love has been the star of the game. He has 2 receptions for 98 yards and a touchdown, 3 rushes for 16 yards, and a score.
You said it, Sean. Stan Parrish, the offensive coordinator, talked about this yesterday. Getting the ball into the playmaker's hands. Well, Navy's got to start wondering. Dante Love's getting the ball. We better get people running to him.
He might have been injured on that kickoff return. This is likely to be the last play of the first quarter. Davis incomplete, looking for the big tight end, 6'7" Darius Hill, who couldn't come up with it. And that is the end of, as anticipated, a wide open offensive first quarter. Back on the campus of Ball State. I think those naval rings are in honor of the Naval Academy being the visiting team here tonight.
That's the only explanation.
First play of the second quarter. Nate Davis helped out by a nice catch by the true freshman Briggs Orsbon. Let's go back to the studio. Here's Steve Bunin with the Sports Center right now.
Thanks, Sean. And with Tropical Storm Hannah already moving into the Atlantic coast, it is now wreaking havoc on some major sports events. The U.S. Open has changed up the men's semifinal tomorrow. Everything has moved back an hour, and they might play simultaneously. And NASCAR has moved both of its races to Sunday. The sprint race, the big one, is in the afternoon. The nationwide is at night. Luckily, good weather in Muncie. Sean, Chris, and Rob, back to you.
And a beautiful night here, Steve. Thank you. It's McQuail Lewis carrying for first down for Ball State. Cloudy skies after a rainy day. We've been dealing with some of the remnants of Gustav here for the last couple of days. But very comfortable with the temperature around 70 degrees at kickoff.
Right now, Ball State's playing at a different level than Navy. Just watching the energy and the excitement about playing football. You usually see the Navy kids hopping around, jumping around, excited to play. Right now, I see them with their hands on their hips, and we're just into the second quarter.
Ball State had a breakthrough season last year, but Brady Hoke and his players all say they haven't accomplished their goals yet. They want to win a MAC championship. Terrible throw by Davis and an interception. Just floated that right into the hands of Blake Carter. His first career interception.
Good job of zone defense by Blake Carter, staying in his back pedal. You see Blake right here. He's going to stay in his back pedal, getting out and taking care of the corner route, which is coming right here. Blake comes off the deep route. Bad read by Nate Davis. Blake's just reading the quarterback's eyes, letting the deep route go behind him, overplaying the corner route. Makes a great play of securing that football.
Corey Johnson put the heat on Davis, who threw only 6 interceptions all of last year as compared to the 30 touchdown passes. Jared Bryant tackled by Alex Knipp after a gain of 4 across the 36-yard line. Brandon Crawford at the bottom of the pile. We mentioned earlier he's 32 years old. He was aiming to go to college out of high school in Fort Wayne, Indiana. His senior year in high school, got in some trouble, jumped into a car to accept a ride from an acquaintance. Turns out the car was stolen. And when the police pulled the car over, they all fled, including Brandon. He was arrested for fleeing, and that derailed his chance to go to college for a while. Eric Catani, the ball carrier. Brandon wound up working in an automotive factory with his brother for about a year. Said he used to get nosebleeds. The fumes were so bad in the factory. He finally went to his brother and said, I can't do this. So he enlisted in the Marine Corps, went to San Diego, went to North Carolina, served for 4 years. There's his mom, Marva. And then decided he wanted to go back and try college and college football again. Bryant, the ball carrier. But even that was difficult after he was discharged as a corporal in 2003. He wanted to come here in 04, but then family issues made it necessary for him to go home for a couple of years. Finally came back to Ball State, tried out and made the team in 06, was a backup that year, a starter and a star last year, all-conference player, and now a team captain Players tease him a lot about being 32 years old. They call him Craw Daddy, Craw Father. But he is a team leader. The late pitch goes to Greg Shinego. First down, Navy. He's down to the 31-yard line, tripped up by Trey Bice.
You know, one of the interesting things about Navy's offense, and it's under Coach Kenner, it's under Coach Paul Johnson, is that they adjust well. When you stop them, they were meeting on the sidelines during the last offensive series by Ball State. They're going to make their adjustments. It seems right now they're dialing up the right adjustments because they're pushing now the Ball State defenders back, and the Ball State defenders are getting a hat on them by the Navy blockers, and that's trouble when that happens.
Ken Niumatalolo's been running this offense, and he was in college as a quarterback in Hawaii, and Paul Johnson was an assistant coach under Bob Wagner. Bryant stuck in traffic, no gain. Ken said earlier this week, we've seen every kind of defense. We've seen everything they can try to do to us, and we really don't have a hard time calling the plays because we look out, we see what they're trying to do, and we know if they do this, we do that. It's very simple.
And it's Ivan Jasper was quarterback when Ken Niumatalolo was the graduate assistant at Hawaii. So they've been together a long time. They know each other. They know what they want to do. And it's funny, they sit there and they watch films and they say to themselves, remember when we did this 15, 20 years ago? They really know what they want to do, and they execute it perfectly.
10 years as an assistant at Navy, over 2 stints. Bryant throws, and there's a lot of running room for Sean White. First down inside the 20. Navy on the move. Trey Lewis chased out White, but it's the midshipman down by 8, deep into Ball State territory now.
Yeah, Sean White has been quiet, so what the adjustment that Navy makes is, well, we got to get Sean the football because he's a playmaker. That time they did a little bit of swing pass to him, get him out in space and hope he wins the one-on-one battles. Good call by Ivan Jasper.
They've thrown 4 passes. That is as many as they threw all of last week in their route over Towson. Here's Sean White. Broke free from the tackle of Trey Lewis and got a couple of extra yards to the 11. Jared Bryant played the second half in overtime last year against Ball State after Kaipo went out of the game with 2 sprained ankles, and Bryant threw only 1 pass in that entire stint against the Cardinals a year ago. So obviously the pass much more part of the game plan here tonight for Ivan Jasper and Ken Niumatalolo. Second and 3 from the 12. It's the fullback for very little. Eric Catani stopped by Spain Cosby, a backup linebacker. Rene Perry also at the bottom of the pile, the big sophomore out of Lake City, Florida.
This is how you get to it, where Spain Cosby comes up unblocked, avoids the blocker, the offensive guard, and does a good job of keeping his head up and wrapping up 233 pounds of Eric Catani and knocking him back the way a middle linebacker should.
On 3rd and 2, the quick toss, and Sean White isn't going anywhere. It's the captain, Brandon Crawford, making the play behind the line of scrimmage. Let's see what Niumatalolo decides to do now on 4th down. They actually lost a little bit on that play.
Brandon Crawford reading his keys right here. You'll see him come off the line of scrimmage and do a good job of avoiding the cut block, staying on his feet, extending and tripping up the dangerous Sean White.
Timeout called by Niumatalolo. Wants to think about this 4th down decision. Brandon Crawford's 32, but he's a youthful looking 32. Seems to blend right in here on the Ball State campus. Criminal justice major, attending class yesterday. Really a delightful young man. Got caught up in the wrong crowd at a high school, felt horrible about it, and has done everything he can to put that well behind him. He blocked a field goal last year against Navy on the last play of regulation to force the overtime. Here's Matt Harmon again, as Niumatalolo decided to kick the field goal on 4th and 2, and Harmon's now 3 for 3 with a 28-yard field goal.
still say that's a win for Ball State. They keep them out of the end zone. They have enough confidence in their offense. And their defense is holding up pretty well, Sean. They've eliminated the big play that Navy had against them last year. Navy's had a couple 10, 12-yarders, but if they're making them go the distance and making them make a mistake, then they're tightening up once they get inside the red zone. So far, Ball State's defense is doing exactly what Mark Smith, the defensive coordinator, wanted them to do.
College football presented by Cars.com continues on ESPN tomorrow afternoon as Heisman Trophy contender Pat White leads 8th-ranked West Virginia against upset-minded East Carolina. They already own a win over Virginia Tech. West Virginia, East Carolina tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN, and the possibility of some really bad weather there in the Carolinas as Hannah makes its way up the coast.
Yeah, Bill Stewart and the West Virginia staff, they're letting Pat White air the ball out. And I kind of had a feeling after watching last year and watching him continue to grow over the years as a quarterback, they were going to let him sling the rock. And last week he slung it all over the place for 5 TDs.
Lou Holtz will be there to cheer on his son Skip's team, East Carolina, tomorrow. John Teague kicks off again, high and short. And it hits the ground, and now a tough chance for Dante Love, who's content to fall on it back near the 8-yard line. A big break for Navy as we check in with Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, I like seeing how these high-profile quarterbacks handle themselves on the sideline. And after that interception, Nate Davis, his first stop, not to the coaches, not the players, right to the phone to talk to the coaches upstairs. After that, stop number 2, go to a stud wideout, Dante Love. And he had an interesting conversation with his punter earlier in the game. It's not often you see a stud QB talking to a punter. I asked All-American Chris Miller what he said to him, and Nate said, quote, "I'm not going to let you punt today." Love the confidence.
He hasn't punted yet today. Davis, as is almost always the case, out of the shotgun. They're trying to get some breathing room, and McQuail Lewis gets it for them. Nearly 10, call it 9 across the 17-yard line. Well, when Nate Davis goes to that phone, he goes to speak to Stan Parrish. They are very close, quarterback and offensive coordinator. Of course, under Coach Parrish, Davis studying under one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're studying under the best, and they're getting good offensive line play. Not a lot of push, but they're sticking to their blocks and driving the Navy defensive linemen back. Is why you can get 9 yards a pop.
Second and short. One of the few times Davis does go under center. Lewis, in the second effort, trying to get to the first down marker. One of the reasons why Davis chose Ball State instead of Toledo, Cincinnati, West Virginia, some of the schools that were hot after him, was Stan Parrish. Stan has great experience. Coach Tom Brady, Brian Greasy, Drew Henson at Michigan, Coach Brad Johnson in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Bucks for a little while. Nate Davis said, "I wanted to play right away. I wanted to improve quickly." And Stan told him, "You could be the next Ben Roethlisberger in our league."
Well, I think he can. And I look at Nate Davis, and he obviously has his little quirks. For one, he plays with gloves on, which Ben Roethlisberger does a lot. And the other thing he does, and we'll show this to you a little bit later, he does not throw the football with the strings. He throws the football not holding the strings. In fact, if he gets the strings in the snap, he'll switch it so he's not holding the strings. And he developed that habit in high school because he said, when I got the snap, I just wanted to throw it and get it out quick. And it didn't matter how it came to him. So it's really interesting. I think it's the only guy I've ever heard about doing that shot.
He said he played in the spread, quick pass, offense game. In high school, deep pitch to Dante Love, and he needed all of that maneuverability to get the first down across the 20. And they said, "I would just catch the ball and throw it. Wouldn't take the time to spin the ball around." He said he'd prefer now not to have the laces. This is a shot of his grip warming up. Stan Parrish and Brady Hoke said, "Well, we watched him throw. We said, you know, he throws the ball pretty well. Why do we want to mess him up?"
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you see that, and we shook his hand yesterday, he has huge hands, so he has that ability and trust in his hand size and his ability with the gloves to grip it.
No throw, ruled a catch by Love. Well, Stan Parrish, as you mentioned, has tutored some pretty good quarterbacks, and he says Davis throws the ball as well as anybody he has coached.
Well, I like his footwork right there. He will stand tall in the pocket, and right there's his comfort man. Dante Love, the Navy guys referred to him as do-it-all man. Well, he's certainly not disappointing for that nickname tonight.
Love is over 100 yards receiving if that play stands.
Navy wants to challenge the play, the call on the field, which was a catch.
Right in front of the Navy sideline, you see Buddy Green there on the far right of your picture, the defensive coordinator, wanting the incomplete pass call.
Well, if I challenge that, the official had a pretty good view to see. I don't know. It looked to me like his gloves were underneath the football.
And from this angle, it does look like he has his hands under the ball and just scoops it up into his chest.
We're talking about a 6-yard gain. I don't know if I want to impact. That's a big impact at this point in the game. I mean, it's 2nd and 4. It's not like it was a 13 or 15 or 20-yard gain.
As with the new rules, if it's a successful challenge, they'll get another opportunity. Kenny Umatalolo, 43 years old. Athletic director Chet Gladchuk moved very quickly when Paul Johnson announced that he was leaving to go to Georgia Tech. He immediately promoted Coach Ken, as the Navy guys call him. You can understand why they do, because it's difficult to pronounce his last name. Ken said, I wasn't worried about it. He's a man of deep faith. He said if it was meant to be, it would happen. If not, I was very happy continuing either to coach at Navy or going on with Paul Johnson to Georgia Tech. He would have had that opportunity had he not been made the head coach at Navy.
I think he's obviously feels blessed for the opportunity to be the head coach at Navy. He knows what a special place the Naval Academy is, and you know his biggest words, I hope I don't screw this thing up. Well, he's a darn good football coach, and chances are he won't screw this thing up.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball was a catch. Timeout, Navy.
You agree with me on that, Sean. Why do you take a challenge on a 6-yard game? And you know, you're still in the 2nd quarter. You might need your timeouts. Let that one go. Fight another battle. It wasn't even close. They were down there and they had a pretty good shot at it as far as vision.
I would agree with you. I think it's also very wise what Navy did. Promote Ken. 8 assistant coaches stayed, including Buddy Green, the excellent defensive coordinator, who had a chance to go with Paul Johnson to Georgia Tech. He said, I love Navy. I love being around these young men. It's a special place. These players go through an awful lot. Eric Catani said to us, you don't really enjoy the Naval Academy. You push your way through it. And that was the sentiment really expressed by most of the players with whom we've spoken.
Yeah, their fun time is practice. So when they get out on the practice field, you know they practice hard because they let loose to maybe let a little stress that the Naval Academy provides to prepare these young men for their futures.
Former players serving in combat. Many of these players realize they could be heading
Prior to the snap,
to the battle, moving
false
along
start.
the offensive
74,
line.
5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Michael Switzer, the guard. Remember when we spoke with Clint Sylvie yesterday, he said he wants to be a Marine and he hopes to have the opportunity. He wants to go to Iraq or Afghanistan and, as he said, support the effort.
Well, and I understand that. I had a chance to visit Kuwait this spring with a couple other guys, Todd Blackledge included, and they're special men and women. And it's an amazing experience for me to go over there, and I understand Clint's wanting to be a part of that, an obligation to be a part of that.
7:02 to go first half. Ball State leading Navy 14-9. McQuail Lewis took the swing pass. And it looks like he has a first down. Out of the 32, chased out by Rashawn King. What were the most vivid memories you took away of your experience in Kuwait over the summer?
Well, it was just an amazing experience, and I understood that the amazing sacrifice that these young men and women make. And right there, I'm on a gunboat in the Persian Gulf and had the opportunity to actually drive that in there. I'm in my combat gear, and I'll tell you, the guys that carry that vest around, it's about 80 pounds, Sean. They don't complain about it, and I see young ladies carry it around, and they can carry it a lot farther than I can, believe me. But they're just tremendous young people, selfless.
And fake by Davis, throw to the near side to Love. He's tackled short of the first down by Rashawn King at the 41. And for these Navy players, the day typically begins before 7 o'clock. They have formation at 7. A long day of classes, and it's a rigorous academic schedule. No cupcakes on their academic resumes. And almost every academy football player we've spoken with over the years talks about how football is the fun part of the day. The assistant coach said a lot of times they'll come into the locker room and practice. The players are asleep on the floor, and they don't want to disturb the players because they know for a lot of them it's rest that they really need. 2nd and 1. McQuail Lewis, first down. Out near the 48-yard line, tackled by Jeff DeLiz and Rashawn King. Here's Rob Stone.
You guys are talking about sleep and the Naval Academy. That's something that is lacking there, and it's something that was achieved over the course of the last huge stretch of hours for a 500-person contingent from Navy. 8 bus loads full of Navy cadets. I knew I was going to say that at some point. I pulled back, didn't I? Yep. Navy midshipmen. They gathered at 4 in the morning, left at 5:30 a.m., arrived here at 5 o'clock. Many are sticking around tonight, so it's going to be like a mini Fleet Week Junior here in Muncie.
Davis has a man deep, and it's dropped. Would have been a touchdown for Daniel Ift if he had caught it.
Nate Davis is back there clapping because he understands that a blown play from a young kid and a young wide receiver, he doesn't want to destroy his confidence. But right now, Stan Parrish, they can run, they can throw.
Oh, my goodness.
And Daniel was thinking about being in the end zone right there. And I know his daddy's a head coach back at Dover High School in Dover, Ohio, just south of Canton, Ohio. Don't worry, Daniel, you'll get another shot, buddy. With this guy throwing the pill, you'll get a shot.
Ift has good hands. He caught 114 balls as a senior in high school, playing for his dad, Dan. That's the Ohio State single-season reception record. Dropped the touchdown there. 2nd and 10. Dumped short for the backup tight end, Ladarius Grant. Usually employed as a blocker, but effectively used as a receiver there to the 36-yard line of Navy. And a first down after a 16-yard pickup.
And it's amazing what the weapons that are available for this Ball State offense. I mean, you're talking about Grant, who was barely a pass catcher last year. Last week he had 3 receptions, and it's another guy that a defense has to account for. Darius Hill was able to get a nice block for his partner in crime, knocking down Pospisil.
And at 12 catches all of last year. Nate Davis is now 9 out of 11. And he's had a couple balls dropped. It could be perfect. Love to the 30. They continue to use him as a dual threat, running and receiving. Ross Pospisil and Michael Walsh combined on the tackle. Walsh, the leader of that defensive line, changed his number this year from 38 to 78. That number 78 was worn by his dad, who played at Villanova in the late 70s and passed away from leukemia 12 years ago. Thomas Walsh was a fine offensive lineman at Villanova.
He looks like he belongs to the 78 as opposed to 38.
2nd and 4. First down. Briggs Orsbon, the freshman, heading to the end zone. Touchdown!
Give the assist to Darius Hill. Last play we saw him spring the block. This play we see him spring the block. Nate Davis looking downfield. Sees the open man. Watch Darius Hill come back. There's the assist. Taking 2 for 1. Touchdown for Orsbon. Excellent play, unselfish play by Darius Hill.
30-yard score. First touchdown of his career for Briggs Orsbon out of Convoy, Ohio. Ian McGarvey adds the extra point. Briggs smiles for the freshman. A 92-yard drive over 11 plays. It took 5 minutes and 1 second. Ball State very impressive on offense here in the first half, leading 21-9. Briggs Orsbon the touchdown, third of the game for Ball State. Second touchdown pass thrown by Nate Davis. And the Cardinals lead the midshipmen 21-9, trying to beat Navy for the second year in a row. This will be the end of a home-and-home series. We're on the campus of Ball State University, where the Cardinals have averaged nearly 11 yards per play tonight. Good kickoff by Jake Hogue, and Emmett Merchant will not run it out of the end zone. Well, Chris, it's pretty much what we expected. Last year, these two teams in an overtime game combined for over 1,100 yards of offense. We expected more of the same tonight. They've allowed the same folks back, and right now it's touchdowns against field goals.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign for Navy, because if they get behind, obviously they're a running football team. They don't have the ability through the pass to come back. But the guy that's shining tonight is Nate Davis. I mean, I knew he was good. I haven't seen him play in 2 years in person. He's so accurate with the football. He reads the defenses and plays with tremendous confidence. He's an outstanding football player.
Davis is 10 out of 13 for 198 yards in the half and 2 touchdowns. His defense is on the field now, and Eric Catani was taken down by Rene Perry.
I also want to give credit right now, at least this half, to Mark Smith. I mean, here's a defense that was decimated last year for 521 yards. Even though they won the football game, you could tell that Smitty felt like they lost, and the defense felt like they lost after giving up that amount of yardage.
Bryant forced to take off, and he's chopped down in the open field by Alex Knipp. There's Mark Smith, defensive coordinator. In his 6th season here, he's been here the entire time with Brady Hoke. After 15 years as an assistant at Indiana State. He said he talked to his old head coach Tim McGuire, who has a lot of experience with the triple option, about how to stop it. He said, I thought I knew how to stop it last year because I was exposed to it a lot, but we didn't do a very good job. Bryant on 3rd and 6, forced to throw. They connect for a first down to Tyree Barnes. The goal was to hold Navy under 300 yards rushing tonight from Coach Smith, and so far his squad has given up only 121 rushing yards as compared to the 521 that Navy ran for last year, while losing, the 3rd highest rushing total ever for a losing team in college football history. And here we go with Eric Catani bursting right through the middle. And tripped up from behind. The ball came up, but he was down. The ground caused the fumble after Sean Baker tackled him. So Eric Catani, who's an NFL prospect as a fullback. First, there's the lingering question, how are the academies going to treat athletes who have a chance to play professional football after the Caleb Campbell situation at Army?
Yeah, and right there, why that play works is what happened was the defensive tackles allowed the center to get up to the 2nd level. When it gets to the 2nd level, it's off to the races, and it's only Big Eric and the safety between them. He gets run down from behind. Clearly, he was down when the ball came, but that's a whole part of that offense. If they can get the center or guard to the linebacker or the 2nd level at the point of attack, it's out to the races, as Eric just proved.
Play is under review. Catani, a sub 4.6 time in the 40 at 233 pounds. 45-yard run for the Mids.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball carrier was down. First down, Navy.
And back we come right away to the live action with Shun White dancing for a hard-earned yard and a half. Down at 2:15 on the clock, running left in the first half. Navy driving, trailing 21-9. Catani run went for 45 yards. But not only did they have a difficult time stopping the run against Navy last year, but that's really been the case for Brady Hoke's entire 6 years here as the head coach. That's become One of their mantras this year, stop the run, whether it's against Navy or anybody. Bryant down to the 14, and last year, Chris, that 521 yards, a lot of it was in big chunks. They had an 80-yard touchdown run against them. They had a 71-yard touchdown run against them by Katani.
And right there was the first big run of the night. But the one thing Ball State is going for them so far inside of the red zone, Sean, they've been stout against the run. Now, they let some yards get there, but once they get to this area, they've tightened up.
Where Navy is bogged down tonight. A key third down here. Brian keeps inside the 5. Touchdown. First touchdown of the night for the midshipmen.
That's that little counter option again. They start one way and they come back with the option the other way. Freezing linebackers, cutting off the pursuit. Jared Bryant, good decision making, takes it home.
Bryant stays in to hold for Matt Harmon, who's now made a Navy record 53 straight PATs. 14-yard touchdown run set up by the long run by Katani. A 7-play, 80-yard drive. Navy right back in it, down by 5 as we approach the half. Jared Bryant, 14 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown after his 14-yard touchdown run. First 6-pointer of the night for the midshipmen after 3 field goals. The extra point has them within 5. And John Teague kicks off with 1:11 left in the half. Dante Love out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Let's get a preview of halftime. Here's Steve Bunin.
Guys, here's what's coming up on the Olive Garden halftime report. Reese, Mark, and Lou will preview the big games on Saturday, and there are a few. Dr. Lou is in, and if you watch nothing else in sports all night, you've got to see the third question for Dr. Lou. And as well, we'll turn serious and tell you which major sporting events have already been rescheduled because of Tropical Storm Hannah. That's all coming up on the halftime report. Fellas, back to you.
I'm liking that new feature this year, Dr. Lou.
Yeah. Man of many talents.
Indeed he is. 1st and 10. Ball State comes out aggressively. They have all their timeouts left. Dante Love caught it over the middle. They're going to go without a huddle as Love got 5 yards. Ram Vella made the tackle.
Chance for Nate Davis here to shine in the 2-minute drill.
They're ready to go quickly, and he threw it away at the feet of Briggs Orsbon. 39 seconds left in the half.
Right there, I think, was the first poor decision that Nate Davis made. He stepped up into the pocket, had space to run to get the first down. He wants to throw the ball so much, if you decide to throw it away, make the play with your feet, young man. You got that ability.
A couple of long runs in their International Bowl game loss to Rutgers up in Toronto. He has good feet. He averaged 43 points per game as a senior in high school in basketball. There's a completion for the first down to Daniel Lift out near the 50-yard line. Clint Sovey made the tackle. Clock stops to move the chains. They have all their timeouts, but they'll go without using one. A half-minute left in the first half. They'll use the timeouts from now on, and it's an interception. Second of the night thrown by Davis. Uncharacteristic. He threw 6 all of last season, but this one was thrown right into the hands of Ram Vella, the junior linebacker out of San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, in there on a dime situation, a converted defensive back. Nate Davis trusts his arm a little bit too much right here. Does not get enough air under the ball, and Ram Villa, understanding the situation, gets enough depth to get in between a receiver and the quarterback at good depth, and does a good job showing DB hands as opposed to linebacker hands and snagging one down. Turnovers are keeping Navy in this ball game. Now Navy needs to capitalize.
See how they play it with 22 seconds to go. As we well know, they're not a prolific passing team, but Bryant's going to give it a try. He's in trouble and collared back at the 35-yard line by Bryant Haynes.
Bryant Haynes does a good job of reading this, and he's coming on what you like to call second contain. He saw the defensive end get chopped. Bryant Haynes comes and finishes the play from his linebacker position.
Let's go down to the field. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Coach Ken, how does that last touchdown and interception affect how you're going to dress your team in the locker room?
Well, we get the ball to start the second half. So we knew we were falling behind, but I just wanted to make sure we didn't get too far behind. We got to stop. Got to get some stops. But I feel good about us offensively, and we got to come out. This drive to start the second half is huge.
What do you need to change to get those stops?
We got to get some pressure on the quarterback, and we just got to get those guys on the ground. We're in position. We just can't get them on the ground.
Coach, thanks for joining us live.
Our halftime score, Ball State 21, Navy 16. Let's send you back to the studio now. Here's the Olive Garden halftime report. Welcome back to Schumann Stadium in Muncie, Indiana for ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Jack Links. At the half, Ball State leading Navy 21-16. The two teams combined for 478 yards of offense in the first half. Most of it through the air for Ball State. And the hero of the half, Dante Love. 119 yards receiving, 26 rushing. He also had 105 yards in kick returns. And Nate Davis, more than 200 yards throwing, although a couple of key interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, key interceptions are what's keeping Navy in this ball game. Ball State has yet to punt the football. And the only anybody stopping Ball State is Ball State. So we'll see how this plays off. It's going to be a great game like we anticipated.
And they're fired up here in Muncie, Indiana, as ESPN is in the stadium for the first time. Brady Hoke and his staff wanted to hold Navy to 300 yards or under rushing. And Chris, for most of that half, they were on pace to do it. But then at the end of the half, Eric Catani, a big 45-yard run to set up a touchdown. Now Navy has 181 yards rushing ahead of that 300-yard schedule.
The thing about Navy's offense is they're going to stay patient, Sean. Again, they take pride in taking adjustments to what Ball State is doing defensively or any opponent. And what they were able to do is get either a guard or center onto the second level, and that sprung the big run by Catani.
Jake Poe kicks off. The kickoff bobbled by Emmett Merchant. Then he staggers forward to about the 18-yard line. And Umatalolo on his way off at the half told Rob Stone this was a key possession, the opening drive of the second half. Navy has not led in this football game. They had 203 yards of offense, but Ball State at 275. The killer for the Cardinals, those two interceptions.
And those were mental errors by Nate Davis. Not physical errors, mental errors.
Jared Bryant, the quarterback, with the pitch to Shun White. Some running room for White into the secondary. He is 4.36 speed, trying to pick up a block. And goes out of bounds at the 11-yard line. B.J. Hill ran him out. Eric Catani, the fullback, running way down the field to help lead the way. 71 yards for Shun White.
There's so many things to go on right here. So watch Eric Catani. He's going to come and fake through, not quit on the play. And the Navy offense gets a hat on a hat. Outside on the perimeter, they will have a hat on a hat, which allows Shun White to use his vision and his speed to cut back. And you see his fullback, the Navy players will not quit on you. They will finish plays, as witnessed by Eric Catani.
All of a sudden, White's at 98 yards rushing. Catani, even after that long sprint, gets the carry, goes inside the 10. B.J. Hill chopped him down. Shun White, the 348 yards last week against Towson, now 98 tonight. He averaged 18 yards per carry last week, 14 per carry tonight. For his career, Chris, with over 150 carries now in his career, he's averaging 10.6 yards per carry for his career.
It's winning football right there, lined up a tight end.
Jared Bryant straight up the middle down to the goal line. He has a first down. He's inches shy of a touchdown. And Niumatalolo said this opening possession a key, and what an impressive drive as they've moved very briskly to the doorstep of the end zone.
What I just drew up there is kind of a double isolation play. You see the ball handling by Jared Bryant, and he gets 2 lead blocks. One right there by his lead blocker, Corey Finnegan, knocking down Brian Haynes, the linebacker, and flat pancaked him.
First and goal. Navy trying to take the lead for the first time tonight, and it's Bryant in for the touchdown. Fake the handoff to the fullback Kevin Campbell and took it himself.
See Kevin Campbell, Sean, you said it, faked it, but watch Kevin Campbell push the pile. And Jared Bryant, small in size, big in heart, pushes it over the end zone easily.
Second rushing touchdown of the night for the quarterback, Bryant. And Matt Harmon kicks the extra point. Well, they're rushing offense, but they can score quickly. Just a minute and 37 seconds into the second half. They went 82 yards in 4 plays. Let's check in down to the field with Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, I was able to talk with Coach Hope prior to the kickoff. He gave me a lot of kind of coach talk. You know, when you're taking on Navy, it's a cat and mouse game. We have to make a lot of adjustments. We need to be sound fundamentally. We need to cause a turnover. But one little thing I did catch just before kickoff, quarterback Nate Davis, he likes to have his right shoulder stretched and rubbed down in the locker room, receiving some extra TLC on that right shoulder before the kickoff here on the sideline.
Said yesterday this would be an endurance game. It always is when you play Navy, because you know they're going to fight you to the last snap. You have to be able to match their conditioning, their intensity.
Yeah, and also match their point total. And I think if you look at Ball State and Nate Davis as the leader, there's no panic. There's nothing but composure in that young man. And I was talking to a couple NFL executives during the halftime break, and the one thing that stands out about him is that he has a lot of confidence in himself, rightfully so. He's going to need it.
John Teague. His kickoff down to Love. Love up the sideline. And bounced ahead to the 29-yard line. Tackled by the kicker, Teague. So here comes Davis, who was 12 out of 17 in the first half. Well, we have a moment. All of the members of our Friday night crew want to send along our best wishes and speedy recovery to one of our traveling family, Paul Mercado, who's been an integral part of our team the last 2 years as our lead driver. Paul's one of those people, when something needs to be done, he's always there to do it with a smile on his face. And all of us are thinking about Big Dog tonight.
Get back here. We need you.
Quail Lewis, the ball carrier, tackled by Corey Johnson, an outside linebacker who for 3 years was the starting point guard on the Navy basketball team. He was actually more highly recruited as a football player out of high school, but wanted to play basketball. Came to Navy, was an excellent point guard for Billy Lang. His 6th all-time in steals in Navy basketball. Then he said, I want to play football.
Yeah, that's one of the strangest transitions I think I've ever heard of. Going from point guard to linebacker. That doesn't happen every day. Nice.
On 2nd and 9, Davis with a lot of time, and it's dropped. Wasn't a perfect pass, a little bit high for Darius Hill, and that's hard to do with a 6'7" target.
It's 2 drops for Darius tonight, and one of the things that scouts like about Big Darius is his ball skills. In other words, catching the football, trying to get the hands into your playmaker's hands, and right there, his eyes go upfield to look for contact before he secures the catch.
Hill flexed out, as often happens in their multiple wide receiver sets. 3rd down and 9. As Chris said, they haven't punted tonight. And they won't have to here either, as Lewis has the first down just shy of the 40, tackled by Ross Pospisil.
That creates a matchup problem for Navy linebackers when you have Lewis coming out of the backfield and Nate Davis just waiting for Lewis to get open. Watch the patience of Nate Davis stepping up into the pocket. Go ahead, McQuell. Get open. Get open. There's the delivery. And the delivery of the first down by Lewis.
Jeff DeLiz in on the stop. 3 minutes gone by. Third quarter. Ball State trails for the first time tonight. Lewis a tough run. Mentioned he hurt his knee last year, tore his ACL in the fourth game of the year at Nebraska when they really outplayed the Cornhuskers but lost by a point. And Lewis was on his way to a great season at the time of the injury and rushed for 447 yards in the 4 games. It really hurt the Cardinals when he went out. Stan Parrish said we really weren't playing with much of a running attack after he was injured last year.
Being backed up by a true freshman, Corey Sykes. But Lewis is 5'6", Sean. And as a player, that's hard to play against, especially when he's running behind 6'5" guys.
Davis after the fake, dumped it off short to Madarius Grant. He has a first down in the Navy territory at the 49. Graham Vela and Ross Pospisil made the tackle. Pospisil with Navy and his family. His grandfather, Doug Barkley, is a 1957 graduate of the Naval Academy. That's part of what sparked Ross's interest in going to Navy. He said he really wasn't that interested, though, because he likes to sleep.
Yeah, that's the wrong place to go if you were a sleeper. But really inspired and sat in church one day and felt the calling.
And his dad, Scott's a pastor, a non-denominational church. So he was going to walk on at Navy. But then his dad called the Navy coach and said, my son's applying to the Naval Academy. He's a pretty good football player. They looked into it and invited him to join the program. Grant the catch and Emmett Merchant the tackle. 8-yard connection to the 41-yard line.
You know, Navy gets a lot of their football players because we were told this last year when we did Navy and Rutgers in 07, this year too, that a lot of these guys, it's their only opportunity to play Division I football. And so it's a win-win. The country wins and the football team wins when you get these type of characters coming to your school.
Hospitals from Temple, Texas, hometown of Mean Joe Green. Slinging Sammy Baugh. McQuail Lewis rumbles for a first down. So Ball State impressive on its first possession of the second half. First and 10 of the Navy 32. 5 minutes played third quarter. A 2-point lead now for the Naval Academy.
You see right here Ball State changing that line of scrimmage, pushing Navy off, and there's a hole that even you and Rob Stone could run through. And at 5'6", he hides behind those offensive linemen, and it's tough for the defense to find him and pick him up. I know you could run here.
I was going to say, I'm not sure about Stone. He's tired tonight, though. He did a soccer game in Dallas last night.
Yeah.
It was exciting. There was actually a goal in that game. Colorado beat Dallas 1-0. So Stoner worked last night, got up early to fly here today. He is the ultimate professional.
Team guy.
You know that. Hey, good luck. Let's keep everybody healthy. Hey, look, watch yourself. Go finish on it. Finish. Finish. Finish, Frank. Finish. Drive on the ball. Drive on it. Same thing.
It's tonight's Coaches Talk, brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Brady Pope, Ball State man through and through. He played here. His brother John, who's now an assistant with the Houston Texans, came here. They had a sister who came to Ball State. In-laws, sons and daughters. They are a true Ball State family. The Hoaks. Davis swings it across his body into open space. Love again. And he's down inside the 15. They'll mark him near the 14-yard line. Emmett Merchant and Rashawn King combined on the tackle. 18 more yards of offense for Dante Love.
Let me show you a smart football player. Dante Love is lined up right here. He's going to hide behind his line, and the line's going to go out here for a screen, but Dante doesn't follow him. See, he kind of sneaks back to the middle there. Nate Davis just waits for him to clear. As the whole Navy defense goes to the screen, Dante says, I'm over here. The Navy defense didn't see him. Well executed by Nate Davis and Dante Love, reading the defense and putting the ball where it needs to be and lining up and getting to the spot where you need to be.
On first and 10, Ball State driving, trying to reclaim the lead. There's 9 more yards for Love. Between receiving, rushing, and kick returns, he's up to 328 yards total now.
See him, he's playing do-it-all man, but he's sneaking. He sees the whole defense go there, but he doesn't go with the screen. He goes into a territory where nobody is. Nate Davis finds the little fella and makes something with his feet after he catches the ball. Excellent play. Man, that's a good play.
I'm very impressed by the design of this offense and the play calling of Stan Parrish, veteran coach, longtime assistant in Michigan under Lloyd Carr. LaQuail Lewis trying to bounce outside. He's dropped for a loss. Outstanding defense by Rashawn King and Jeff DeLiz.
And sometimes as a running back, you just got to stick your nose up there and get a yard gain or 2-yard gain. You don't always need to make the big play. Watch Lewis right here. It's a nice job of cutting back. Right there's the hole. Hit it right there. Don't go out there. There's too many guys, too many fast guys out there. Put your head in there and run them over. You're a powerful runner at 5'6", 185, but built like a truck.
Really helps Navy to have DeLiz back. He broke his foot last year. Had to withdraw from school to rehab. Did not play in spring ball. Low snap. Davis on 3rd and 4. Flag now. It's a touchdown if it stands. Another one for Dante Love. But there is a flag thrown in the secondary.
Yeah, they're either going to get Navy for holding or interference.
Holding on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Navy grabbed the big fella, Darius Hill, on a slant route. Just an in-and-out route between Darius Hill and Dante Love. The Navy guys go with Darius Hill. They hold him because they're afraid he's going to be the guy at 6'7". There's the inside route. There's the outside route. Dante Love finds the open area. No matchup there for Emmett Merchant.
Second touchdown reception of the night for Love. 20th of his prolific career. Ian McGarvey kicks the extra point. And back and forth they go, reminiscent of the meeting between these two teams last year. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Each team has scored a touchdown in this half. It's Ball State back up by 5. The David Letterman Communications and Media Building. They have an excellent communications program here. David Letterman, arguably the most famous alum of Ball State. That building opened in the fall of 2007. As he said, dedicated to all C students before and after me. He's been a very generous donor to his alma mater. He mentions Ball State a lot on the Late Show with David Letterman. Used to show highlights when they were losing 21 games in a row, but he's kept updating us on Cardinal football as they've turned it around as well. He has to be enjoying this one tonight. Jake Hogg's kickoff. Returned by Mario Washington. Of course, David known for his top 10 list. We've shortened it to 5 tonight. Here are some students with the top 5 reasons to go to Ball State.
We're the pride of the powerful MAC West Division. There's a MAC West Division?
3 words. Located in Muncie. Guaranteed ocean views from every dorm room. If you have really, really good eyesight.
At Ball State, every graduate gets their own late-night talk show.
Here's a deep throw and a catch. Sean White on the receiving end of the aerial from Bryant. They've had a lot more passing in their game plan tonight. And that's another effective hookup for 27 yards. Bryant to White.
Oh, I love the play call by Ivan Jasper. Last series, they stuffed the ball down their throat by running. So how do you start? You start throwing the ball because you figure the Cardinal defense has their ears up to stop the run, get them sucked up, and Sean White connects by Jared Bryant.
49 yards passing. That's close to a big night by Navy standards. The late pitch. Ooh, how about that maneuverability by White, stepping over a would-be tackler. I'm sure the nation is in suspense in honor of David Letterman, the #1 reason Ball State students come to this school.
Here, even a dork like me can get babes.
Anything to get on TV.
So They have a very enthusiastic student body, as we've seen. It's a beautiful campus. Brady Hoke says if we can get players here on campus as recruits, a lot of them come. Nate Davis said that when he first saw that. He was very impressed. Eric Atani, a short gain. Here's Steve Bunin.
Thanks, guys. It's time for the Jack Link's Wild Play of the Week in East Carolina. How about pulling a Hokie on the Hokies? A block punt for a touchdown with 2 minutes left. Keys the upset victory over then number 17 Virginia Tech. First win against a ranked team for the Pirates in 6 years. Doesn't get any easier tomorrow. They're at West Virginia.
One of the featured games of the weekend. Here's Shun White, who's over 100 yards for the second week in a row. Of course, last week he went for 348. He has a first down at the 23-yard line. He was highly recruited out of high school in Memphis, Tennessee, but most schools want him to be a defensive back.
Well, should want him to be a running back, because right there, Trey Bryce comes up and has the angle, but then takes a poor angle, falls inside. Shun White with a little move jukes him to the outside. Trey Bryce has the corner and support, has to turn that ball back into his pursuit.
Bryant keeps and goes inside the 20. Shun White's from Raleigh Egypt High School in Memphis. Number 26 jersey, retired there. And he was recruited by Wake Forest, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, but they all wanted to be a DB. He decided to go to Navy. For a while, he didn't know Navy was recruiting him. His dad didn't want his son in the military, and perhaps to get in harm's way overseas. So for a while, he was throwing away the recruiting letters that Navy would send. Here he comes again, avoiding the tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and he gets a first down, chopped out by Trey Bryce. But it's Navy impressively on the march again. First down at the 12-yard line as they try to recapture the lead here in the third quarter.
Well, clearly, again, what Navy takes pride in as a coaching staff is making the adjustments. Ball State did a relatively good job, except for one run by Eric Atani in the first half, of limiting the big plays. Navy seems to adjust by getting a lineman to the second level, and the option of the perimeter game is starting to open up for the midshipmen, putting problems on the Ball State defense.
Bryant carries down to the 10. You saw Ken Niumatalolo, who's a former line coach, and a lot of times the old line coach habit is hard to break. We saw him a moment ago. He was out near the 50-yard line. He was further away from the line of scrimmage than anybody on that Navy sideline. He just strolled down a little bit. He said he still likes that vantage point well behind the offensive line where he can see the holes open and the play develop.
Well, he still has a tremendous amount of input on the offensive line as far as coaching goes. That was one of the conditions that Alex Ingram took the job.
Bryant down to the 8-yard line. Bryant was a running back and wide receiver until his senior year at Hoover High School, the heralded high school program in Alabama. Multiple state championships. Of course, they were featured on MTV's Two-A-Days. Bryant wasn't there when the cameras were there. He said he was amused by it. He knows a lot of the players and coaches. Thought a lot of them were acting for the cameras. Some were just being themselves. But he was waiting behind John Parker Wilson to become the starting quarterback at Hoover. Of course, John Parker now at Alabama as the starting QB. Third down and 6. White turns the corner. Can he get to the first down marker? No. About a yard shy, and now a big decision for Ken Niumatalolo with under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. His team down by 5. It's fourth down and less than a yard.
I think I go for it with the way your offense is clicking, and a better job on that play by the cornerback Trey Bryce, who a couple plays earlier let the play get outside. That time Trey was able to make the play and not giving up the outside flank. I go for it, absolutely.
So they're going to, they better hurry. They're still in the huddle with the play clock at 10.
Jarrett Bryant on a quarterback follow. That's where he fakes the ball and just follows his big fullback right through the hole.
And a timeout has been called by Navy. 4th and inches, a key play when we come back. .224 to go, third quarter. Navy with fourth down and less than a yard, just inside the 3-yard line. Trying to keep the drive alive, 10th play of the drive. Bryant, as Chris said, he kept it. Did he get the first down? Brady Hoke doesn't think so. Drew Duffin was there leading the Ball State defense.
Depend on the spot.
As it always does.
You know, Sean, again, they went with that unbalanced look. And remember last time they did this in the first half. Ball State hit Jared Bryant, but he fell forward for the short yardage because he cut it up too early. He has to stay with his blockers where his people are going. There's Katani going outside. He goes inside of his lead blocker. If he stays to the outside, he gets the first down.
Yeah, he didn't come anywhere near it there. Almost a full yard short. And Ball State takes over on downs. Well, they're not going to accomplish their goal tonight of holding Navy to 300 yards rushing or under, as Navy has already rushed for 303 yards. Well, that was a big no gain right there.
And again, the Ball State defense tightening up in the red zone. Right here, it's a quarterback follow. There's the unbalanced look. Here's your lead blocker. All he has to do is stay outside right there, and the seam would open up. But he decides to cut it up early, and he's stuffed at the line.
Brady Hoke's offense takes over with a 5-point lead. McQuail Lewis trying to get him a little breathing room as Gang tackled after a 1-yard gain. Jeff DeLiz, Matt Neshak leading the defense. 1-yard gain. We're up to 699 yards of offense in this game. 352 for Navy, 347 for Ball State.
I'm looking for Ball State to not necessarily in this position, but if they get out of here to start taking some shots down the field, because when they have attacked Navy deep, they've been able to connect. Recently, they've been doing dink and dunks.
Just trying to get some breathing room. A big hole from McQuail Lewis on a first down. He was looking for much more, but he got tripped up by the hand of Blake Carter. So they get the breathing room and they get the first down out to the 19-yard line after a 14-yard gain.
The difference is right here, you see the big guard getting up on the linebacker, sealing him off. And the difference for McQuail Lewis, last time he ran the football, he went east-west. That means he ran sideline to sideline. He didn't run the hump. Here he hits it downhill, shoulder square, and he's off into the secondary. That's the way to run the football. See the hole and blast through there.
Lewis again squirts up the middle to the 23 for 4 more. What does he didn't run the hump mean, for those of us who aren't quite sure?
Run the hump means when you have to stop and start or run backwards and start running sideways. As a defense, anytime you have a perimeter runner or a speed guy, you want to make him run the hump so it allows your pursuer defenders from the opposite side of the field and your linebackers to get there to slow him down. He's more effective with his shoulders downhill, and he's running north and south, running no humps, running down the hill.
Combined for over 1,100 yards of offense last year. Not quite on that pace, but it's been a wide open game, and Davis shows he does have running ability. Slides down to the 35. 12-yard gain for the junior quarterback from Bel Air, Ohio, and a late flag thrown.
Somebody lost their composure here because this was well after the play.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, 13 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
He spun the ball at the end of the play.
Ooh. Man,
that's huge.
Let me see. What does that mean? I understand they're trying to crack down on it, but I don't think he's rubbing anybody's face. That's probably something he does in practice. I mean, that's a little bit ticky-tack for a game like this. And I understand, you know, rules are rules.
Rules are rules.
Let the boys play. I mean, that wasn't done to rub it in anybody's face. It was a 12-yard gain.
We were talking with Nate Davis yesterday. He said particularly admires Tom Brady and Peyton Manning because of their composure and leadership and the way they run the team. He said he's still trying to grow and develop as a leader. McQuail Lewis, the ball carrier, to the 24 on the final play of the third quarter. Ball State led by 5 at halftime. They're still up by 5 as we head to the fourth.
Saturday at 8 Eastern.
On to the fourth quarter at Schumann Stadium. The crowd overflowing onto the grassy space behind the end zone to our left. They're behind the Ball State offense now. First play of the quarter, 2nd and 6, a first down and much more. And then Lewis got plastered, lost his helmet. Well, the important part of the play, got the first down before he ran into Wyatt Middleton.
Leave it to a Navy defensive back to do a tackle the way it's supposed to be done. Head up, run through the target, bring your feet, come with bad intentions. All the above are done right here by Wyatt Middleton. Enough so where you knock the helmet off of the player. Outstanding. I salute you, sir.
Dante Love comes in. They fake the reverse to Orsbon, and now Love has running room. He has at least 10 more, likely 11 before DeLiz chased him out at the 50-yard line. It is 11 on the run for Love.
And the play's actually stopped because Carter right here, number 1, has him in his sights, and he goes for the fake. You see Dante Love. Not a lot of speed, but a lot of quick shake and bake. Shimmy sham, whatever you want to call it. He has it.
He has 37 yards rushing on 6 carries.
Full body
154 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. 134 yards in kickoff returns. Other than that, he's had a quiet night. Davis finds the backup tight end, Ladarius Grant. They pile him up at the 45-yard line. Corey Johnson leading the way. But it's a gain of 5, and Davis has Ball State on the move again. Up by 5 points. Their largest lead was 12 in the first half. They led 21-9.
I just got a feeling that Ball State's biding their time to go up top. They've been doing a lot of 5 to 10-yard passes. Just look for them to go up top soon.
Lewis straight up the middle, first down. Good work by this offensive line, and they've been impressive tonight. Center Dan Gerberry making his 38th career start. The tackles are outstanding as well, Brewster and Ramsey.
Again, you can see that he's not touched until he gets to the second level by DeLiz, the safety. Anytime you can get that kind of blocking, hat on a hat, you got a downhill runner like Lewis, you're going to have big positive gains on the ground. It's a pistol formation. Watching Chris Holt out of Nevada.
Gerberry, the very good center, snaps it. He's a 5th-year senior. Harris going deep as Chris predicted. And it is a touchdown for Darius Hill, the tight end.
Just get a feel for these type of things. He's going to roll to his left. Darius Hill is running a takeoff from the backside, his tight end position. He's got a one-on-one matchup with a much smaller player. And I'll tell you, Nate Davis is not going to miss when he has a little space to put that ball. Beats Rashawn King, the best cover corner man. But I saw it coming. I felt it coming. Sure enough, there it was. Going deep.
35 yards. It was a 97-yard drive after they stopped Navy on 4th down and inches. The extra point is up and good. (35-23).
When our coverage returns to Muncie, I put the pedal to the metal. You're not first, you're last. Smokey!
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series heads to Richmond, where it's now or never for Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane, and Clint Boyer, who all have one last shot to make it into the chase. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond on ESPN now, Sunday afternoon at 1 Eastern Time. The coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown. Those two teams been racing up and down the field. Ball State's had 2 possessions in this half, 2 long touchdown drives. And Jake Hogue kicks off. Emmett Merchant bobbled the kickoff and now has some room And brings it out to the 27. Tackled by B.J. Hill. Well, they love their racing in this part of the country. Today, Rob Stone paid a visit to the Muncie Dragway.
Probably put on my seatbelt buckle, by the way. Yellow, 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 green. Go, baby! Holy shnikes. Woo! 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Danica has nothing to worry about, or Kyle Busch, or whoever.
Bryant, that was upset because Rob was just about to make his victory leap there and thank all the sponsors in the true NASCAR tradition. I don't know if we can get to the rest of that, but it was a moving experience for the huge crowd that had gathered there at the Muncie Dragway to watch Stoner make his way around the track.
It handled just like my minivan back home.
Greg Shinego takes the pitch and has the first down. How fast did you go, Rob?
You know, I actually did it twice, and I figured it out the second time. It's something about getting off the brake, but 123.43 miles per hour at the quarter-mile mark. And I want to let my fans know out there, because I apparently have a few, that the unedited version is going to be made available on my holiday DVD. So you'll be looking out for that, okay? Yeah.
We were supposed to find his long list of sponsors. Edit that out of the telecast tonight. Sean Baker, a big play behind the line of scrimmage.
And Sean Baker makes the play, beating the block of Corey Finnerty. Corey Finnerty earlier in the game had a big lead block to spring Jared Bryant right here. Sean Baker playing the alley player, like an outside linebacker. You see Corey Finnerty beats him inside. Sean White shut down at the line of scrimmage. Good read, good reaction. Corey knows it. He'll come back and get a play there.
A loss back to the 32-yard line. 2nd and 15. Under 11 minutes to go. Bryant slipped as he finished his drop. Still turns into a positive gain and nearly a first down. He's played well tonight. David Jones made the tackle about 2 yards shy of the first down.
And I can understand why there's a quarterback controversy. I mean, Jared Bryant has done a lot of good things tonight. The only thing the Navy offense has not been able to do in the first half, they settled for the field goals as opposed to finishing drives off.
Join us like Typo Noah Kahiaku and Hada, the starting quarterback, injured, out for their 2nd week in a row with a hamstring injury. They hope he'll be back soon. Katani, the ball carrier for a first down, out to the 49-yard line. So Jared Bryant, starting for the 2nd week in a row, has rushed for 81 yards. He's handled the ball cleanly. And what an honor it is. I mean, he was very surprised when he was selected as the offensive team captain. He said, I'm the backup quarterback. And at the Naval Academy, most of these players are young men with great leadership skills. He said just about anybody on our team could be the captain, but his teammates chose him. A great leader among many outstanding leaders. Keeps it, goes to the 46 of Ball State, frustrated as B.J. Hill ankle tackled him.
Well, in order for Ball State to have success tonight, this young man, B.J. Hill, is going to have a big game. And they're doing a good job of keeping downfield blockers off of him, letting him run free to the football. Again, last year I thought B.J. missed a lot of tackles. This year, B.J. has done a great job. That's 2 tackles in a row. One on Eric Katani, and that one right there in the option.
2nd year on defense for Hill after 2 years as a backup tailback. Bryant can't find any running room, and now he lost the football at the 45. The Cardinals say they have it. Just were talking about how well Bryant had handled the ball. He put it on the field turf.
There's a battle going on. All ties go to the offense.
And the offense got it back. Boy, Bryant fumbled last week. It was one of his few mistakes. Ken Niumatalolo really got after him to the point where Jared said the coach's wife got mad at him for being so hard on Bryant. I think he might have hollered at him even more vociferously if this one hadn't been recovered. But how did B.J. Hill miss it? He had it right in his lap.
There's a fight under there, and I'll tell you, Rene Perry hustling, taking on double teams all night with his hustle, got that big left paw in there to knock the ball out of Jared Bryant's hands.
B.J. Hill appeared to have it right under that number 3. Someone took it away from him. Bryant up to 87 yards rushing now, 2 touchdowns, and breathing a big sigh of relief. Actually, he was involved in a costly turnover in overtime last year in their loss to Ball State. Strange move
Timeout.
on the line.
Ball State. Second charge. Timeout.
Timeout.
Time for the snap. The timeout because they were outflanked again. That was the unbalanced look, and Ball State did not adjust. Navy had them. And they called a timeout, and a good timeout by Brady Hope to make sure you're aligned properly on the defensive side of the ball.
Whether or not there was a fumble.
Brady Hope with his defense around him. They haven't stopped Navy, but very few teams do. They've certainly done a much better job of slowing them down than they did a year ago. This is a team with high expectations. A lot of talent back from their bowl team of a year ago. Jason Whitlock, the outstanding columnist, who's appeared many times on ESPN over the years, on the Sports Reporters and others. He's a graduate former football player at Ball State. He wrote an article. They could be one of those BCS surprise teams, maybe even go 12-0 this year at Ball State.
I think they have the ability, but Central Michigan's a pretty good team. That's a good matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Charge timeout, Ball State.
There wasn't an explanation given. I would assume that Brady Hope was challenging, saying that B.J. Hill had recovered that fumble, and it should be Ball State ball. But it didn't go that way. So Ball State with 1 timeout left. Navy keeps the ball, and a big 3rd down and 4. From the Ball State 45, Bryant keeps, and now they're looking at another 4th down with about 1.5 yards to go. 8.5 minutes remaining. Here's a look at the fumble, and it certainly looks like B.J. Hill has it. He's down. Contact. Players on top of him. Knee down. That was Brady Hope's point, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, that he certainly has an argument for it, unless the officials or the replay officials felt like he didn't have complete control and that ball was moving around on the ground. Then you have Jared Bryant, and I think who recovered the fumble wrestled it away from him.
4th down, almost a certain must convert for Navy, and Shun White did. Had to make a move behind the line of scrimmage. It looked like he might slip for a moment as he made that cut, but he stayed on his feet and made it to the 37-yard line in a 1st down, tackled by Brian Haynes.
I think you want to be an option quarterback right there. You have to be willing to hold on to that ball as long as possible and take a shot. Jared Bryant took a shot for the good of the team, delivered a strike to Shun White, who shook and baked his way to the 1st down.
Play action pass. Bryant going deep, and it is intercepted. B.J. Hill picks it off and runs out of bounds along the far sideline.
This is a great read right here by B.J. Hill. Again, remember, he's a main run stopper. He picks Shun White up right out of the get-go, reads the offensive lineman, and does a good job of undercutting the route. As a quarterback, if you have a guy running the post, the one rule you want to have, if you're long, you're never wrong. That time he was short. B.J. Hill cuts underneath and makes a huge play for his Cardinal teammates.
And 5 interceptions last year, his first year on defense, first of his senior season. He's from Lanham, Maryland. And that's a big one. Navy now really up against it, down by 12. More than midway through the 4th quarter. And then with Nate Davis moving this Cardinal offense up and down the field briskly. McQuail Lewis to the 24, a gain of 2. Here's Steve Bunin once again, a Sports Center right now.
Thanks, guys. And what's going on right now is Tropical Storm Hannah moving in on the Atlantic coast. So the U.S. Open has been backed up an hour, and NASCAR has postponed both of its races at Richmond until Sunday. The sprint race is actually going to come before the Nationwide. The sprint at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Last one before the chase for the Cup begins. Now back to Muncie.
All right, Steve, thank you. Davis zings one. And it is caught after a juggle by Love for a first down to the 34-yard line.
One thing I look at when I watch Nate Davis, the thing that stands out to me, and again, there's going to be a complete breakdown of him. See B.J. Hill on the sidelines getting a well-deserved drink of water. He's played huge tonight, but the quick delivery that number 13 has. I mean, that ball is out of his hand in a hurry. Pro scouts love that.
And the clock stopped by the officials again with 6:20 to go. 9 catches, 165 yards for Love. He's had a huge night with all-purpose yardage. Meanwhile, Davis is up to 326 yards passing. He's now just 14 away from becoming their all-time leading passer in school history. He passed Mike New.
The ruling on the field is being reviewed.
Why, we don't know. Because I've loved a little more communication from the officials tonight in some of these situations. Let's see. Questioning whether or not that was a catch, but clearly it was.
I understand. I don't think that's even close.
Should stand as the 9th catch of the night for Love, giving him 189 in his career. Only Dante Ridgway went on to the NFL from Ball State, has more. He had 238. So Love has a great chance to be the all-time receiver here at Ball State before the end of the year. He caught 100 passes last year. And Davis is about to become their all-time leading passer only in his 2nd game of his junior year. There's already speculation he'll be back for his senior year. He's one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the country. And he said he'll wait till the end of the year and talk to Coach Hoke and Stan Parrish about that.
Well, and I know also, yeah, he's got a tough decision to make. I know that he's committed to graduating now. And so that's something that he's worked very hard at moving toward. He's a great, I think he's an NFL player, absolutely. I don't know about this year.
Mel Kiper's top junior quarterbacks brought to you by John Hancock. Matthew Stafford is at the top of the list with Tim Tebow. Last year was the first sophomore to win the Heisman, right behind. And then he has Nate Davis, the 3rd-rated junior quarterback. Josh Freeman of Kansas State next on Mel's list, followed by Mark Sanchez, who certainly was impressive in beating Al Groh's Virginia Cavaliers last week.
I would stay in the MAC and take a look at Dan Lefevre up at Central Michigan.
Trail Lewis, a hard-earned yard to the 35. Nate Davis in this half is 9 out of 10 for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And he's made better decisions, obviously. Again, I think when you look at it, he has all the physical tools, and decisions on the 2 interceptions that he made were mental mistakes. I mean, he trusts his arm strength a little bit too much, tried to zip it in there, didn't get the loft on the ball, and then was picked off.
Young man who came to Ball State in part because he has a learning disability, and they have an excellent program here to help him. He puts a lot of time in the classroom, usually about an extra hour or 2 a day in tutoring to help him handle his classwork. Bill Lewis, the ball carrier. Ross Pospisil made the tackle. I talked with Nate about that yesterday. He's quite open about it. He said he doesn't believe it really affects him in terms of his ability to learn football concepts, the playbook, and that sort of thing.
Well, again, he was late for a meeting, which we were happy to wait for him, as long as we knew he was at the tutor and helping his education move along. But he's an interesting kid and a good kid. young daughter, by the way, that lives here in Muncie.
2-year-old daughter Mia. Davis in trouble, and it's the first third down that Ball State did not convert tonight. They were 5 for 5 on third down. Good pressure from Craig Schaefer. That was a key for Ball State last year as well when they beat Navy. In the game at Annapolis, they were 11 out of 15 on third down. And Chris Miller will punt. It is the first punt of the game for either team. With under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. It comes from the All-American Miller. The American Football Coaches Association first-team All-American punter last year. He averaged over 45 yards per punt. And great coverage downfield as Mario Washington was hit immediately by Derrick Henry. So Navy with a lot of work to do and little time to do it. They're down by 12 with 4:42 to go. Coverage brought to you by Jack Links, and this is not just the standard announcer embellishment. You are a big consumer of Jack Links. You have been chopping on the teriyaki beef jerky up here all night long.
Yeah, that's my favorite flavor, teriyaki. It's
look at the back,
fat-free, 5 total carbs, lots of proteins, right up my alley. I eat it in between breaks.
Well, and
plus, I like the Sasquatch man. Did they, in these commercials, he crushes people.
Did they teach you anything about sharing at Ohio State? Pass is caught by Tyree Barnes.
What, am I supposed to read your mind?
Well, there's 5 total carbs in that bag. You had all 5. I can promise you that.
Sorry, I didn't bring my mind reading skills with me tonight. Just ask if you want some.
Usually you don't need to read someone's mind, but just ask. Perhaps you'd like some Jack Links teriyaki beef jerky. Bryant on third and short, didn't get there, and they'll certainly have to go for it with under 4 minutes to go, down by 12 points.
And that's the third time they ran a quarterback follow on short yardage, and they're 1 for 3. The last 2 times they've been stopped by the penetrating defense of Ball State, especially the front 4.
2 out of 3 on fourth down, but there was the big stop that was a key play in this game. Bryant gets it this time. They need to get moving quickly. They're only at their own 33 with 3:22 to go. The clock stopped to move the chains. And Matalolo starting his first full season as head coach. He was appointed prior to the bowl game, the Poinsettia Bowl, which they lost to Utah. Paul Johnson left to go to Georgia Tech. He has a tough act to follow. They've been to 5 straight bowl games. Catch made by Corey Finnerty, the junior from Ventura, California. Short gain. Brian Haynes made the tackle. 6 yards on the play. And Brian has him back to the line very quickly. Juggling catch made, and Finnerty got out of bounds with a first down at the 46-yard line.
Corey Finnerty does a good job of catching the bad ball. It's on target, but Jared Bryant threw in the Phil Negro out there. Got to give him a spiral to work with. It's a problem if you're Navy's offense, so you have to get some balls down the field.
And obviously Ball State will be looking for that. That doesn't help much. The 2-yard gain. Well, speaking of Phil Negro in baseball, reminder coming up next on ESPN, Gary Thorne, Steve Phillips, and Oral Hershiser have the big game between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers in Los Angeles. LA's won 5 in a row to get within a game and a half of the front-running Diamondbacks in the NL West. It's all coming up next on Friday Night Baseball. Short throw by Bryant. Van Herren and Derek Lowe, the scheduled pitching matchup tonight. Dodger Stadium.
Who was the radio play-by-play guy, famous radio play-by-play guy for the Dodgers?
Vin Scully?
Yeah.
Radio and TV.
Yeah.
Of course, Manny Ramirez helping lead this resurgence for the Dodgers of late. He's done his part since coming over in the trade from Boston.
Since he tanked it in Boston to get over there?
Ooh.
That's what I heard.
Well, it's hard to argue with it. I watched a lot of that firsthand living in New England. Bryant in trouble, finally sacked back at the 45-yard line. Brandon Crawford. With help from Kenny Meeks.
See, the Navy offensive line is not used to pass blocking, so advantage Ball State defensive line where they get out of their run stopping mode and get in that pass rush mode, and pretty much advantage Ball State because of the lack of pass protection that Navy does on a continuing basis.
Timeout with 4th and 11, must convert situation upcoming for Navy. We check in again with Rob Stone.
Sean, here at Ball State, they utilize some not so subtle activities to encourage getting back on the field, if you know what I mean. You go in the weight room one day and you're seeing guys in pads and helmets on the Stairmaster, Spielman's favorite device. Yeah, that's something they do to encourage players getting back on the field. Sandbags, you know, they're not just for floods anymore, and kegs, they're not just for keg parties anymore. The strength and conditioning staff admits they have cured several ankle sprains with a few hours in the old weight room. And Sean, I know Spielman right now is smiling. He loves that video.
Yeah, he does a lot of that stuff in his lift. There's Aaron Wellman. They call it getting Wellmanized here when he gets a hold of you. He's done a great job. We spoke with the big offensive tackle Robert Brewster yesterday. He said he wouldn't be where he is, a first-team all-conference player, were not for Wellman, who helped him drop 50 pounds. Navy must get the first down or they're done. Bryant just threw it up for grabs, and it goes out of bounds with pressure from Brian Haynes and David Jones. And Navy turns it over on downs. And Ball State is on its way to a 2-0 start to this 2008 season.
Everybody knows that Sean White's a target. He comes in motion and try to run him on a takeoff. But right there, Sean Baker playing position. Wasn't going to be fooled. Played disciplined defense. Ball State knew that Navy had to throw the football, and Navy's passing game is totally inefficient without the threat of the run, which they lost on that last drive.
I know the Ball State coaches wanted to hold Navy under 300 yards rushing. They didn't accomplish that, but they've held them to 23 points. Navy came in having scored 30 or more points in 7 straight games. That was the second longest such streak in the country. Here's McQuail Lewis, close to another first down. Florida has scored 30 or more points in 8 straight games as the Gators head into their big matchup with Miami tomorrow. So that streak's going to end for Navy unless they can get the ball back and score very quickly.
I think McQuail Lewis has had a nice night tonight, hasn't he? I mean, he really runs hard. And what a difference he is for this offense and Nate Davis. With the threat of him getting the ball, opens everybody up.
It gives them balance that they were lacking the second half of last year. Lewis 20 carries, 107 yards. And now Davis just milking the clock. Second down and less than a yard. Lewis has the first down, waited patiently to find a hole and went to the 29. Corey Johnson made the tackle, so Navy is about to fall to 1-1. Win over Towson last week, and the loss tonight. Ball State 2-0 wins over Northeastern, and now Navy. The goal for Ball State is the MAC championship, and they certainly look like they have a very realistic shot at that.
I got to believe, and I follow MAC football. They have one of the most balanced offenses in the MAC, and one of the best quarterbacks, not only in the MAC, in my opinion, in the country.
Final 15 seconds. They don't have to snap it again. So Ball State sweeps this 2-game mini-series with Navy, winning in Annapolis in overtime last year and winning by 12 tonight. 35-23 is the final. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Coach, you knew this would be a big test for your defense. What did you learn about them tonight?
Well, I thought we hung in there. I thought we played 4 quarters, and we kind of knew it would be a 4-quarter game. And, we just got to stick together. I thought our offense got going again, and, they're pretty high-powered when they get a goal.
How do you verbally sell your quarterback to America with that performance?
Well, you know, he's a tremendous football player. He's got some great guys around him. You know, he'll sell on the merits and what he does.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Nate Davis threw for 326 and 4 touchdowns tonight. Dante Love had 165 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, 37 yards rushing, and a score and 136 yards in kick returns. Ball State a winner, the final 35-23 over Navy. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, and our crew, Sean McDonough saying good night from Muncie, Indiana. Let's send you back to Steve Bunin in the studio.